Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaRakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone of all world, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work of Syrian truth. Yeah, so it's it's getting peak because what's it called? Now that winter's on the cusp, because really like end of November, December, but really what's it called? End of November, December. End of November, December, and then really it'll be late December into January and February where you're feeling the brick cold. Russia's been laying missiles down on the power grid. So it's more or less just been it's been fucked for these men. I'll read into it. It says on CNBC, it says there may be no light for a very long time. Ukrainians face a massive test of survival this winter, and that's over there in in the regions of Russia where that winter gets fucking brick cold, man. So it says what? Over 10 million Ukrainians have fled the country since the start of the war, but many of those who stayed, particularly in the south and east of the country, have already been pushed to the limits of their resilience. Daily life has become a test of survival for many, with basic necessities such as food, water, and medical provisions becoming scarce. Russia has also continued to pound the country's energy infrastructure. Around 10 million people in Ukraine currently have no power as a result of Russian strikes on energy facilities over recent weeks. And that's how the incident with Poland happened, is they're doing strikes on energy infrastructure, and then, well, the counter missiles most likely, went veered off, and then blew some niggas up in Poland, man. But as winter sets in with dwindling daylight hours and temperatures set to plummet as low as minus 20 degrees Celsius, officials are warning of widespread shortages of energy and heat. I remember like the power shortages, that's what happened in Crimea as well. Energy, like I think Ukraine cut power to Crimea at that time. It was in the dark. It was fucked. It was fucked. It's like its peak. Because more or less, bro, you just out there, through as hell. Power has become particularly scarce with energy use rationed and scheduled, and lately unscheduled daily blackouts imposed in many parts of the country. And really, this is the interesting part, because that's something that was mentioned for the UK as well, of where there might be blackouts. The grid might go down to basically make it through the winter. Because why? Because the energy crisis is that peak, and it's still hitting. Like, it's not really it's still hitting. Even if it's because the temperature's not been over here in the UK anyway. It's not been getting fucking blitz cold just yet. But that's when it hits. Hey, people are gonna start turning the heating on. They're gonna get the bill at the end of the month, and be ready to give up the ghost. So yeah. That's been peak. It says, and these blackouts could last for months, according to one energy company CEO who warned Monday evening that there may be no light for a very long time. And that, combined with the stressful situation, so you're going to have more chaos ensue. more chaos is gonna go on. It's basically just gonna devolve into madness as well. Um, it says, I want everyone to understand Ukrainians will most likely have to live in a shutdown mode until at least the end of March. Yeah, that's fucked. That's fucked. So really, like what, 5-ish months of where you're fucked, because they're obviously gonna have the cold hitting quicker and more intensely than over here in the UK. The UK doesn't get as cold as these regions, and they're in the middle of a war, and the infrastructure has been targeted, and it's still being targeted. Because he said, I think, so it says what the best case scenario is no new attacks on the power grid. There would still be power outages, but only short-term ones, enabling energy workers to get the grid back on its feet. However, worst case scenario, according to Kovalenko, would see their network severely damaged. Then you have to activate not only hourly stabilization outages, but also emergency ones for which there may be no light for a very long time. So yeah, it will be as fucked as man will be trying to well, like they said, it's best case and worst case scenario. So it's all kinds of through. Because if the attacks ain't stopped. Like they said, it's been weeks. Men have been attacking. If that continues, they continue to hit. It's men are through. Men are through. It's all kind of fucked. It says Ukraine should be prepared for different eventualities, particularly the worst case scenario. He said, advising people to stock up on warm clothes and blankets. Think about options that will help you wait for a long outage. It's better to do it now than to be miserable and blame someone later. Well, you're gonna be blaming no one because you're gonna be fucking. You're gonna be dead, man. Most likely. But that's the situation now. In the midst of Ukraine's in the midst of the war, and the as far as for energy, that's the infrastructure's being hit, and that's it's gonna get peak for everyone, man. Everyone's gonna be feeling that intensity. Amos 5:18 says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord Yahweh is darkness and not light. Yeah, the day of the Lord is basically coming to bring darkness. It's going to be confusion, uh, you know, death and destruction onto the vast majority of the world. They ain't got any clue for what they're prepared for. That's why, they'll read an article like what's being spoken of. Well, that's terrible. But they don't know these are things that are getting ready to visit them as well. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on a wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? So yes, it's basically gonna be, you're gonna be thinking you got one form of relief, then it's gonna be hell. It's someone might be out in or in the Ukraine, out somewhere. Then they hear the sirens go off. Then they see bang missiles are flying. It's like, oh shit! They might duck and dive. Depart. Flee that circumstance. Go yard. Then the power cuts. And then they're just like, oh shit, it's fucked. And then the power ain't even coming back. Then there's dealing with that. And they start getting hungry. Hey, their neighbor might just come through and be like, fuck this, and look to smash the shit up to see if they might see like a fire in the window, come in there and just be like, yo, start getting irate, because they're in need of something. But it's peak. Isaiah 13:14, and it shall be as the chase row, and as a sheep that no man taketh up, they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one to his own land. As the reality set in, as it gets peaker, people are gonna skedaddle and depart. But then it's also who's the Lord set up. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. That's cold, ice cold judgment, especially for how people are living now. they're completely divorced from the realities of war. That's why it's like the stories of what was going on in Ukraine. He was saying all kinds of fruit. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." Yeah, these Russians, the spirit that's been put in them as well. The monetary incentives ain't gonna be able to put them off. It's what it's a spirit where they're being what's the word roused up. They're being roused up. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children, and that's that's the tool being utilized to bring these things about. These guys ain't gonna have ain't gonna have no love, ain't gonna have no pity. They're gonna be moving completely raw, man. These Russians, and that it's been witnessed. There's been reports of this kind of fuck we're going on, that kind of fuck we're going on. But then what? These men are pursuing. It says, "In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah." And yeah, Babylon's the main target. That's where it's gonna be felt the most, and that's where what you're seeing, now elsewhere, is gonna be replicated. Jeremiah 51:7 says, "What Babylon have been, a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand, and made all the earth drunken. The nations were drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed." And that's really how it is. It's still in the mindset of there's some means, there's some avenue, there's some channel by which, America's prominence can be restored. It's going to be able to come back to the state it was in, where it was the top dog. But what's the reality? We would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. That's something that's not going to come to pass, because it's been anointed. It's had its day. Its day was set, and it's had its role. What's its role, man? Proverbs 16:4. The wicked was made for the day of evil. They're basically about so that the day of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua can come to pass, man. These guys are a key tool in bringing those machinations to reality. So it's let's go so I say, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord Yahweh hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh our power. Make bright the arrows, and gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple." Yeah. So they're preparing all their weaponry for what? These Medes, these Russians, they're preparing what? To come against Babylon, to come against America. That's the key role they've been they've been assigned. Why? For the sake of the vengeance of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. In fact, let me do it. So Isaiah 66:15 says, "For behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire." Yeah, that fire, the missiles, those nuclear missiles. That's also, that's the role they've been tasked with. "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord Yahweh shall be many." Yeah. All flesh is going to get pleaded with, man. The whole earth is going to be feeling this. So Revelation 18:21, it said, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Hey, that's how it's gonna go down. It's gonna be raw. It's gonna be uncut. It's gonna be emotional, man. This is what, brings terror and fear into the eyes, the eyes of the populace, man. The idea that, America, the ideal, the hope, the dream can be brought to an end. But yeah, I'll leave it there, man. Shalom. Shalom.